You differ with the current administration, with the Obama administration now, in having said you support a no-fly zone in Syria. If say you're president and that no-fly zone is in effect and a Russian jet flies into that no-fly zone and they refuse warnings to leave, do you give the order to shoot down a Russian jet?
Well, that's a hypothetical that I think there are many steps you have to go through and decisions you have to make before you ever get to that.
ISIS doesn't have aircraft, Al-Qaeda doesn't have aircraft, so would you shoot down a Syrian military aircraft or a Russian airplane?
I do not think it would come to that. We are already deconflicting airspace.
But isn't that a decision you should make now, whether?
No, I don't think so.
You in Syria talked about a no-fly zone, which the president certainly does not support, nor do I support, because A, it will cost an enormous sums of money.
She's a member of the Armed Services and Foreign Affairs Committees, as well as an Iraq War veteran. Congresswoman, you're opposed to a no-fly zone that the U.S. would impose over Syria.
One of the reasons why I have advocated for a no-fly zone is in order to create those safe refuges within Syria to try to protect people on the ground, both from Assad's forces, who are continuing to drop barrel bombs, and...
What about the option of controlling the airspace so that barrel bombs cannot be dropped?
All the options.
What do you think of that option, sir?
Right now, Senator, for us to control all of the airspace in Syria would require us to go to war against Syria and Russia.
Second of all, it runs the risk of getting us sucked into perpetual warfare in that region.
Whether it's Hillary Clinton, Marco Rubio, Chris Christie, or some of the other candidates who are running for president, they're all advocating for a no-fly zone, which would directly start a Russia-U.S. war, which could then easily escalate into a World War III or nuclear.
What would our response be? And I want the Iranians to know that if I'm the president, we will attack Iran. And I want them to understand that. We would be able to totally obliterate them.
Obliterate them. What do you think of that language?
Well, it's not the language that we need right now. And I think it's language that's reflective of George Bush.
Pictures have been published of a new Russian intercontinental ballistic missile. Russian state media says the Satan II, as it's called, could actually wipe out an area the size of Texas or France.
It can hit any target on either side of the United States, for instance. It's powerful enough to destroy a country, a single missile the size of France. It can carry up to 15 warheads. It can evade missile defenses quite effectively as well. And so it's a pretty awesome sort of missile. But I mean, hopefully it won't ever be used.
And we have to send a very clear message to Putin that this kind of belligerence, this kind of testing of boundaries will have to be responded to. And the best way to do that is put more armor in, put more money from the Europeans in. We will stop them. And we will make sure the Iranians and the world understand that the United States will act decisively if necessary, including taking military action.
How do you explain her being the architect and champion behind the war, the military action to overthrow Gaddafi in Libya?
We came, we saw, he died.
We've got a failed state full of chaos, thousands of lives lost, and now ISIS and Al-Qaeda having a stronghold.
One of Vladimir Putin's most powerful supporters, a man who just won big in a parliamentary election in Russia, makes a menacing prediction.
There will have to be consequences for any violation by Iran, and that the nuclear option should not at all be taken off the table.
If they vote for Hillary, it's war.
Oh, the military option. Thank you. Thank you, Justice Breyer.
Then he goes even further.
If Hillary Clinton wins, it will be the last U.S. president ever